Okay, I was gonna sit down and talk about something else, like a different message coming, and I will do that, but I'll be honest, there's this love energy that's coming through, and so I gotta honor what's there, and it's like there's two different ones. There's two different messages, and I wanted to do the other one, but no, I feel like right now I gotta speak about love. Um, I feel like there's quite a few of you feeling into this. I just saw 444, which is an 8, which that's interesting. For me, 8s have been showing up whenever I tune into my own kind of um, love story, my own kind of union. But and it is the like I like to think that 8 is the and 111. Oh my god. I love like living life in this kind of like magical way. So I'm all about the signs and synchronicities. Um so what was I saying? Yeah, 8, I also like to think about it as like obviously the infinity, but like the balance, reciprocity, right? Giving and receiving, the balance of the inner masculine and inner feminine within us all. So which the funny thing is I actually wanted to bring that up. So okay, so I feel like yeah, a lot of you are have been feeling into this love. A lot of you, oh my god, so many of you have ended something that was very long term with somebody else that just wasn't working. And to tell you the truth, like, and I've done a message about this. Um, it really feels like this was like a faded ending in 222. Of course, literally, like this is so on point. This message is on point. Um, yeah, when I was feeling into like the past, I feel like 2 to 3 years, relationships that have ended, it almost does feel like it was meant to happen, right? It was fated to happen. We were meant to move through these endings, even if they were painful, because to tell you the truth, a lot of relationships in the past were based on like scarcity, no alignment, take rather than giving. And I'm sure many of you know that, and some of you like felt it subconsciously, and there was just your soul was like, all right, time to end this. Like, let's move on. We need to start our own healing journey because a lot of us did come into relation with another to almost be like, help me feel whole, help me feel worthy, help me like heal my wounds. And granted, in relationships like that can happen in a sense of like helping another person heal, because yes, I do agree that the greatest inner work that you can do is in relation to another, right? Because that's your direct mirror. But the thing is, a lot of those relationships, it's like, yes, you did a bit of inner work and vice versa. Like, they did expose wounds and things like that that you needed to work on. But the thing is, I just feel like a lot of those relationships, they only were there to serve that kind of purpose of like helping you see those wounds, helping you to see what's missing inside of yourself, right? Because you can't ever get the things that you want and you need from another person. You're going to have to get it from yourself. And then when both people can come into that kind of dynamic, when they're like getting it from themselves, when they pour into the relationship, it's like completely different, right? Um so anyway, I just kind of wanted to explain the past a little bit, probably most likely where you have come from. And you've gone on a healing journey. So like it's crazy how many people I've talked to and that I know that like this has been their journey of like leaving someone behind where they might have thought that it really was it, and then they realize like no, like it's just not happening. It's not clicking. It's like your soul freaking told you like this soul contract between you and this person is now done. It's now expired. Now it's time to move on onto something else. And, a lot of you have gone through a lot of healing, a lot of healing. Truly, like 2025 has been intense for a lot of us. Trust me, like if you're in it and you feel like you're the only one, you're not. There's so many of us that it's been like a lot, a lot. And so give yourself grace for that. And be grateful for yourself because I get it. I've been there with you moving through these things as well. And it really is being forged in the fire, but you're being forged to be the greatest, most authentic version of yourself, right? Um so anyway, if so I know a lot of you want this like next level love. Like to tell you the truth, I feel like a lot of you have come to a realization, a conclusion of like, "Oh my gosh, like I've always wanted a deep love." And then you've realized like, "Wait a minute, I never actually got to experience that. Even if I craved it, I never actually got to experience it." There was always some sort of distortion in those relationships. And like I'm not saying that that was bad. Like there is distortion for a reason, right? But I feel like a lot of you have come to the conclusion of like, man, like I knew I was always destined for like this beautiful soul deep love, and I've always wanted it. But then like when you went into relation with other people and like a few of them, you're like, okay, I guess it doesn't exist. It's just all in the movies or songs or whatever. It's all made up. It doesn't actually like there are some of you that got to that conclusion of like, you know what? It just doesn't exist. You just have to accept whoever you are with. You have to accept mediocre love, and you've come to the realization that that's actual BS. That it exists because you have felt it now within yourself. You've realized that, oh my gosh, I just went on this journey of experiencing everything that is not actual soul deep love, so that when you do come into this container with somebody else, which you are coming into, like you're gonna be like, oh my god, oh my god, it exists, it actually exists. And it's gonna leave you speechless, and it's gonna leave you in awe. And I want you guys to realize that because you've been through the trenches in love, in getting your heart really broken and battered, like because you have gone through that, and then you've gone in your own like healing journey, and you've really come back to yourself, now coming into this union with somebody else, you're going to be so grateful, and you're going to treat this relationship with this person like it's the most precious gem in the world. Like you're going to be like, I need to make sure I take care of this relationship. I need to make sure that like this person knows how grateful I am to now experience what I've always wanted to experience, what I've always known to be destined to experience. And by the way, This is not going to be one-sided. So for those of you that it's like, if you are entering into that kind of dynamic, like let's say you met someone and you might be thinking if it's this person, if it's not reciprocal, that's not them. That's not them. Like that's a pattern from the past. If you think about it, all the other relationships were never reciprocal. Were never reciprocal. And that's not what you're calling it anymore. So just be mindful, okay? That's not who you're calling. You're calling in a freaking sacred mirror, because I know a lot of you have gone through a lot of work to come back into yourself, to understand your worth, to understand your value, to feel your own love. Like a lot of you have come into that inner union of the masculine feminine polarities. And that is balanced. That is reciprocal. And now you can only attract that. You can only attract that now. And yeah, it's just this love truly is just going to be like, I knew it. I knew that this existed. And you're going to be so grateful that now you get to experience it. And by the way, it's not going to be like where you're going to look at your past relationships and be like, ugh, why couldn't I have met you earlier? Why couldn't I have met you, you know, back when I started dating in my early life? Like I would have missed all of this, craziness and toxic relationships. It's not actually, you're not going to have that feeling, because you're going to understand you had to go through that. You had to experience everything that love was not in order to experience what love actually is. Because, like, oh my God, this goes back to the message that I made, I think, the last time, of like, when you just receive everything, like you receive everything that you ever wanted. Sometimes we can take it for granted. Sometimes we can take all those things for granted because it's like we don't understand the opposite of it. And we're just like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's there. I swear to God, I feel like there's a story about that, but I don't know what it is. It's like there's something coming into my mind, but I'm not. Isn't there like a story of like a prince that like just has received everything and never had to like work for it? I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. You can list it down below, but like there's something familiar about this kind of story of like not having to work for something, just having everything given to you on a silver platter, and then them being like, yeah, okay, I have this, I have that, whatever, meh, meh. Like, um, and then don't they experience like losing everything, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize what I had. And it's like, instead of like, I feel like a small percentage of you might have gone through that, where maybe you had someone really special and then you lost them, and then you went into like having all these like kind of toxic, karmic, whatever relationships. And then you're like, oh my God, what was that? But I feel like for a lot of you, it actually was just the opposite. Like, it's like your soul knew that you were destined for like this higher level love, this soul love. Um, and it was like, you know what? Let's put them through the trenches and the challenges from the very beginning. Let's just get it out of the way. It's like your soul is like, when you're like looking at different things of like, okay, what am I going to experience? And yeah, your soul is like, let's do it the hard way first so that later on we can just enjoy life. And I'm laughing because the funny thing is I'm that way. I actually remember when I was little, I would always like pick the hardest thing first just to get it over with, just so that I could enjoy um it being easy. So yeah, I feel like that resonates with me. I can see my soul totally being like, I'm gonna go for the most hardest painful lessons. Because I know I'm going to get through it. But, at the time, it's like, oh my God, what was I thinking? But again, I do feel like a lot of you, all that struggle, all that like heartbreak, all that betrayal has actually ended for you. You've closed out that cycle, so you're there. You're there. There's no more going to be like these hardships or like really losing things and people. Like it's no, no. You've gone through it. You've learned your lesson. You've done a lot of healing work. Yeah, this resonates with the message I made earlier about that wave. If you guys are coming from there, like again, this is for you. This is just one of the things that you are calling in, and it is coming in. And I feel like this is actually very soon. And it kind of like, I can feel it like in my heart. It's like, oh my gosh. Because you have, God, you are like brave friggin' souls. You've gone through it. You've gone through it. And it does feel like you're tired. You're tired of, you're ready. You're ready to be met fully. And it's like not even just in love, but like by everything, by what you're creating, what you're putting out there, by your friendships, by your community. You're ready. You're ready. And I'm telling you, it is coming. It's not going to be all delivered all at once at your door. Remember going back to that video of the wave analogy and like just also just getting everything that you want all at once. No, no. Steady patience, right? Understanding that like that first thing comes in, learn to love it, learn to appreciate it, learn to be with it. And then the next thing, you're gonna savor the next freaking cycle of your life, the next era of your life. It's all about like, it's like, like when you drink a glass of wine or something, you really take your time with it. Like you really savor each sip. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. Um, what I wanted to mention though with this love, it does feel like for a lot of you, I know you've been doing a lot of work. You've been doing a lot of inner healing, inner work. Um, and it does feel like just recently there was another wounding in love that came up for you that you could have been dealing with for the last couple of days or weeks. And it could be different for different people, right? It's a certain wound around love, like whether if you can trust or some kind of betrayal or fear, like something. And because you've been doing a lot of inner work, you've just been kind of moving through that. Like you don't resist it. You're like, okay, let me see what this is. Let me understand it. Let me introspect. And you've just been, going through that, feeling it, integrating it, alchemizing it. And it actually feels like you've done a great job. Like you've felt the wound, you've exposed the wound, you've integrated it, and actually now it feels alchemized. Like this was the last kind of shedding. This was the last shed. And you've come into this new cycle, this new beginning, this new era in love. It's like you needed to shed these things before you actually can come in with this person. Because now this is what calls the person in. This is what invites that energy in. This is what invites that person in to your life now. Is because you've shedded those final layers. And I'm not saying that like you're completely done, but it's like you have to shed enough to invite in so that when you meet this person, you don't completely dismiss them. You don't completely, reject it. Like there has to be some sort of energetic alignment for them to come in. But are you guys going to go through different challenges and stuff that comes up, of course, but again, you're calling in someone who has done the work, who isn't afraid to do the work, who is not going to run the other way when something comes up. They know it's a chance to deepen the relationship and to go in deeper, to lean in, to get curious, to understand, to alchemize. Um, yeah. So if you've gone through that, I'm letting you know, like, yeah, it's like around the corner. It really feels like for a lot of you, it's before the end of the year. And if you don't, then it's like just the beginning of the year. Like I said about the wave, right? There's this momentum. It's things are starting to sprout, and yeah, for some of you, it's like before the end of this year, you're gonna meet this person. Is it gonna be a full blast relationship? Might, might not be, right? But it's like you meet, you guys recognize each other, and then it's that starting of something new. Again, remember, savor. Savor it, enjoy it. And anyway, this is your person, you know what I mean? So anyway, enjoy the blossoming of that relationship. So yeah, it's sweet. And I know some of you are scared. That, trust me, I know that fear is still kind of there. It's small, it's there. Don't let it sabotage. Just be like, okay, I understand. I'm wounding around this. This is like someone really serious and awesome that I'm calling in. And like meeting, when you meet, like, yes, that fear might come up. Just process it, be with it, communicate about it, because this is a person you get to be fully transparent with. No more hiding, no more making yourself small. Be transparent, right? Um, and they'll be that way with you too. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna end this here. Sending you so much love, and this is exciting. As always, you can check out my services and offerings down in the description box below. Other than that, I will see you in the next one.